Southern Hills. I'd like to start off with a tremendous thank you to everyone who made it possible for me to have the privilege to participate in the International Affairs Seminar in Washington, D.C. in New York City last March. On this trip, I established lasting relationships with people I had never met before. I only talked to maybe once or twice at church camp. This opportunity allowed me to experience what life is like in a foreign place, wearing a big old sign in your head that said, "Hello all, I am not from here!" But in all seriousness, it's truly remarkable how much an Oklahoman stands out in New York City. And for some of us on this trip, it felt even more like we stood out because we got on a plane with Michael Davison and a bunch of people we didn't know. At first it was intimidating, but on the first night in Norman, before we departed for the airport, I was assigned a room and a roommate at a hotel. I went into the room and sat there awkwardly for about 20 minutes thinking, oh no, what have I gotten myself into? And when the door opens and this taller kid with dark hair about my age walks in and says, "What's up, dude? I'm Iggy." And we introduced and began talking about music and school and our families, and after a coin flip and a best out of 7 rock, paper, scissors match for the single bed, we crashed. I won. Once we arrived at Calvary Baptist Church, where we were staying, we were assigned to travel groups. I lucked out. My travel group was amazing. Led by the fabulous Reverend Kelly Becker, we early on formed a tight bond. The first night we ate at New Big Wong because we thought the name was funny, and that kind of explains the goofy and lighthearted way our travel group took on these two big cities. We had a blast exploring New York and D.C., laughing and learning the whole way. We even bought matching tie-dye t-shirts to make the other travel groups jealous. And they were. And they should be, because our travel group always had a positive and fun energy that made it special for everyone. What made it special for me is that everyone got to do what they wanted to do, despite the rest of the travel group not being specifically interested in whatever the one person wanted to go and see. Everyone just went with the flow, and it worked. In D.C., there was this kind of historic record store that I was really dying to check out called Smash Records. And me being the only person in the group with any particular interest in music or vinyl records, I did not expect anyone to not only be willing to walk a long way to go see this record store, but share the same excitement with me and going. I wonder if this attitude of giving that we carried with us in our travel group could be well applied to other relationships, such as those with friends and family. I wonder how a system of you first, me second might work if applied to systems of government. IAS gave me the unique experience to see how our government works by touring the Capitol building and getting to sit in the Senate chambers. IAS showed me that I, as an American citizen, have a valid say in my government. IAS allowed me the opportunity to stand in the same room as one of our state representatives and ask him any question I wanted to. The question I decided to ask Senator Langford was a question my friend Grace and I came up with about health care. We started with an anecdote from a sponsor, Kendra, who about how she has a disease that without medication is fatal. Without affordable health care, Kendra would not be able to get the medication she needs to survive. And so we asked, do you believe health care in the United States is a right or a privilege? If you believe it is a right, how will repealing the Affordable Health Care Act allow everyone to receive affordable health care? If you believe health care is a privilege, what is your response to Americans who cannot afford a health care or don't qualify for state and federal aid? Senator Langford responded with a lecture about how providing health care is a duty of the American people to provide for those who cannot provide for themselves, as opposed to the government. I found this a little off-putting, seeing as I've always been raised to want to help people less fortunate than I. And I thought it was odd that a person who represented my voice in Washington did not feel the same way. But in the end, he looked me in the eye, he smiled, he shook my hand, and was even willing to take a picture with me. It was surely an experience I'll never forget. The theme of IAS this year was reconciliation, and if there's anything I've learned on this entire journey wrestling with this word on IAS and a CYF conference, it is that reconciliation is hard work. Let me take a step back and give you a dictionary definition of reconciliation. Reconciliation, noun, the restoration of friendly relations. Now that sounds pretty easy on paper, but like most things, actions speak louder than words. To expand on that, for there to be a need to restore a friendly relationship, there must be a conflict, there must be a schism or some kind of explosive catalyst to destroy a relationship to the point where it needs to be restored. And that's where the work comes in. Forgiving and making new with someone you despise is not a genetic human trait. In fact, it goes against every natural instinct to hate those who hate you. Reverend Michelle Letter, director of GCOR, the General Commission on Religion and Race in Washington, D.C., opened my eyes on the first day of the seminar. The seminar was relatively quiet in the morning while we went through the orientation, and then suddenly this loud, energetic, and powerful force of a speaker came into the room and began to speak about how reconciliation starts with looking in at yourself and evaluating where your status is in life. Okay, well, I'm an upper middle class, straight, white, male. I have 2 parents who are together and who both love me very much. I go to a good school and I have the incredible opportunity to go to D.C. and New York City thanks to my wonderful church family. So as the seminar went on, we talked about reconciliation between lions and lambs. And I was taking notes and notes and notes and asking questions after questions. Heck, I even sat in the front row. I was so busy trying to take in this message that when she told me, "Quit talking, I've had enough of you," I was dumbfounded. How dare she say that to me? How dare she say that to me in front of all these people, an upper middle class, privileged, white, straight guy like me? My mind suddenly changed. I was indirectly stepping on everyone's opportunity to voice their opinions in my own pursuit of information. Maybe I didn't take into account that these people that I'm with are from all over the state, from all kinds of backgrounds, with all levels of privilege. Maybe it took someone to spell it out for me. The hand we are dealt in this life determines the amount of privilege we receive. You cannot control being privileged, but you can control your actions, and you have the power to help those who weren't dealt a winning hand. This trip allowed me to take a look at myself and establish what I truly believe. This trip gave me close, lasting relationships, amazing memories, a full stomach, and faith that in this world there is hope in the everlasting battle for peaceful reconciliation. Thank you, Southern Hills, for being my faith family and for allowing me this opportunity. Thanks be to God.